All right, thank you so much for joining us today. And in this video, we are going to work on examples that is related to just the previous video that we watched on circles, right? So the previous video, we're able to go through all the formulas and maybe all the tips and then all the things that we need to get started. But we need to practice to make sure that we know we make use of the formulas and what we just learned, right? So this one we have 5 questions. I'll do some of them. I'll leave some for you to do it and then just drop it in the comment section. Let's see who gets it right. All right. So let me start with the first one, right? So I'll try and do one which is similar to the one that I'll just leave it out. So let's look at the first one. Now, the first one is remember the equation of the circles. So always when you see the questions, you look at which one am I going to go for. So the first thing I would do is, okay, then let me write all the equation of the circles down. So we saw that one of them is x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared. Then I have one which is x squared plus y squared plus 2 gen x plus 2fy plus c is equal to 0. So I compare the equation and then I see that, okay, if I see the first equation here, this is going with this. So it means that I'm thinking this way. Good. So let's go. Let's go. A, since we are thinking this way, it means that the question is asking us to find center and radius. So since I'm thinking this way, then let me just drop this one here. I need to make sure that this my equation is of this form. So it means that this one can be written as x squared plus y squared plus 6x minus 10y minus 11 is equal to 0. So this is what I'm going to get at the end of the day, right? So now, what am I going to do? I'm trying to figure out my J and my C, and then I'm done. So let's see something. I have this, I have this, I have y squared, I have y squared. Now look at this. I have a term with x, and then a term with x here. So let's compare them. With the one with the green shaded, we will see that 2 gen should be equal to 6. Can you see that? Because I have x here and I have x here. So when I cancel the x out, I'm going to have 2 gen which is equal to 6. So basically it's like now this term is the same as this term. So I'm going to have 2 gen x is equal to 6x. Then when I divide through by x, I divide through by x will cancel and I have 2 gen is equal to 6. But that is not mathematically how we are going to do it. What we want to do is we need to pick the coefficient of x here and then the coefficient of x here, then we equate them. So coefficient of x here is 2 gen and the coefficient of x here is 6. So I'm going to get this. So this one will help me to find gen, and we see that gen is going to be 3. When I divide this one by 2 and divide this one by 2, I have gen to be 3. Now let's look at this one too, the one with the red and then the one with the red here. We see that 2f, right? The coefficient of y here is 2f and the coefficient of y here is negative 10. So divide through by 2 and you see that f is equal to minus 5. So the first thing that we are looking for is the center. So let's look for the center. The center is, remember the center, right? Minus gen, comma, minus f. So here the center is going to be minus gen. So minus gen will be minus 3 and then minus f will give us 5. So here you need to pay attention here anytime you do it. And you do 1, 2 examples and you are okay to go. You will see that anytime I find gen, I need to negate it. And then I get something like this. So this is my center. I need to find my radius. So basically, now what will be C? C here will be with a constant term, right? The constant term here. So C is equal to minus 9. What is the formula for finding the radius? So you see what I was saying, we need formulas to work through these problems. So R is equal to square root of gen squared plus f squared minus C. You remember it, right? Good. It's good that you remembered it. So what is Jane? Jane is 3, so I have 3 squared plus, what is F? F is minus 5 squared. And then I'm going to have, or basically I can use the one here. Any of them, is because of the square, it's fine. So this is going to give me something like this. This is going to give me something like this. Let me see. Oh, C is negative 9, so we should have like minus 9. So radius is 9 plus 25 plus 9, and this is going to give us something like, so 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 25, this is going to be 3, and this is going to be oh, what am I going to get here? 4, right? Because yeah, those who are using calculator, confirm it for me, right? So this is going to give us root of 44. Good. So first question, we're able to find the center, which is here, and we're able to find the radius, which is here. This one we can, I think we can do some way of like simplifying this, because I know that this is the same as, I'm not using calculator, but I know that this is the same as 9 times 5, and this is going to give us 3 square root of 5, something like this. So this is for A. So because of A is of this form, I'm leaving the B for you to do it. So do the B and drop it in the comment section, right? You are going to do the B and drop it in the comment section. Good. Let me work with the C, then I'll do one, either D or E, and then I will just give you one to do, right? So this is giving us, let me just shift this one here. So this one is giving us a center of minus 3 and 5, and a radius of 5 roots, no, 3 root 5. So let me just clean up the solution here, and then let's work with C. Then you drop in the other one inside. Okay, so let's look at C. Do the B, drop it inside the comment section. So minus x squared minus y squared plus 8x is equal to 0. So basically what we can see from here is these are positive, right? So I need to make sure that these guys are positive. So I'll multiply through by minus, and I'm going to have x squared plus y squared minus 8x is equal to 0. So let's try and compare this to this. So when I take my x squared y squared out, then I compare the rest. So we see that the one with the x is here. So I'm going to have 2 to be equal to minus 8, right? So the one with the x, the one with the x, so 2 is equal to minus 8. Gene will be equal to minus 4 when you divide through by 2. Now 2f, which is the coefficient of y, we don't have any term here. We don't have any term here, what is y? So it means that the y term there on this is 0. So we are going to get this one to be 0, and our f will be equal to 0. So it means that the center is going to be minus J minus f, and this is going to be 4. Please don't write minus 0. No, it is 0. Okay, just kidding. Right. So that's what you are going to get for the center. Then we need to find the radius. So we know that radius is equal to root of J squared plus f squared minus c. Oops. So what will be the c? C should be 0 because we don't have any constant in this equation. So let's try and see the radius. So this is going to be minus 4 squared plus 0 squared minus 0. And this is going to be 16, and this is going to be 4. Good. So C, we are having, what are we having for the C? Center is 4 and 0, and radius is equal to 4. Good. So B, D, and C, I'll do one and I'll leave the one for you. So let me do the easier one and give you the difficult one. I'm no wicked. No, I'm no wicked. Don't say that I'm wicked. I just want to do the easier one. A teacher always does the easiest one and leave the difficult one for the student to think about it, right? So I want you to think about it. Okay, so let me do one of them. So basically, I'm going to work with which one is easy? We have they are all small, easy, but basically I'll do E. Yeah, you are saying that I should do E. Yes, I'm doing E. Yeah. Okay. So because this is of this form and this is also with this form, it means that with this one we are going to use this guy here. So we need to make sure that everything that we have in E is of this form, the same thing. So we are going to have 5 minus x all squared plus y minus. So the trick that I'm going to use here, think about it and use it, the same thing for the D. So the one with the red, you are going to solve and put it in the comment section. Good. So let's do that. This, I want to form it this way. So I have x minus a. So I need to have x minus a. But this one is 5 minus x. So what can I do? I'm just taking it step by step so you understand. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to factor minus out. So I factor minus out, and then I have x minus 5. You see here how I've put in the square. So here when I multiply through by minus, minus times x will be minus x. And then minus times minus 5 will be 5. So that I have this one, this form. Plus, fortunate this one is already in the form, like this y minus b, which is also here. Then probably what I can do for this one too is, since this one is like something squared, I can write 4 as 2 squared. Now here, see what I'm going to do. If I have, this one is like having a times b squared. This is the same as a squared times b squared. So we have minus times this. So this can be written as minus 1 squared times x minus 5 squared. And minus 1 is 1 times x minus 5 squared. And this is the same as x minus 5 squared. So this is going to give us x minus 5 all squared plus y minus 1 squared is equal to. Good. So let's compare. We can see that a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 1. Always pay attention to the negative side. This is negative, this is negative, negative here, right? So you need to pay attention to that. If this one was positive, then a will be negative 5. So pay attention to all those things. Good. So what will be the radius? And then the radius is, come on, the radius is 2. Good. So make sure you do the B and then the D. Don't watch this video without doing the B and D and putting it in the comment section. Don't mind if somebody has put in the solution there already. Put yours also there. Yes, at least I know that you took some time to work on question B and question D. So we are learning together. All right. So let's look at the next question. Good. So we're able to talk about the basic equation of the circle and then the general equation of the circle, right? How to find the center radius. We're able to do that. Let's talk about equation of the circle that has a diameter with endpoint. So basically, we are talking about the diameter, but the endpoint of diameter is this and that. So as I said, coordinate geometry, circle, you cannot do some of the questions without drawing. So I love drawing. So I have my circle and then I have my diameter. Now the diameter is having an endpoint. So let me put 2 here and minus 5 here and put minus 6 here and 1 here, right? So basically this is what I'm going to have here. Now we have 2 approach. So I'm going to use all the 2. First, let me use the one that forms 90 at the angle there, right? So I'm using this. So when I'm using this, since this one is 90, I'm going to name her here to be P, X, and Y. So as we said, I'm going to find the gradient of, let me name this one to be A, and let me name this one to be B. right? Let me name this one to be B. So for me to find the equation of this circle with a given diameter, I find the slope of A and P, and then slope of P and B. And since they meet at 90, when I multiply this slope, I should get -1. You remember that? Right. So let's assume that slope of AP is equal to M1. So what will be M1? M1 will be equal to, let's find the slope. So most of the case, you need to write this one as your y2 and x2. So slope is, we know that slope of equation is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So be writing the formulas when you are solving them to get them on your fingertips. Always you know which formula you are going to use and the questions and the formulas that you need to use. So this one is going to give us y minus 1 divided by x minus 6. So this is my x2, this is my y1, sorry, this is my y2, y1, this is my x2, x1. So my slope here is going to be y minus 1 divided by x plus 6. Let me assume that this line here is having a slope of 2. So this is a slope of 1. So slope of PB is equal to M2. So what will be M2? M2 slope is equal to y minus 5 divided by x minus 2. Simplify y plus 5 x minus 2. So what did I do? I'm just finding the slope of this and this. I'm treating this one as my y2 x2 and my y1 x1. So y2 is y. So y minus y1 is minus 5. So I put my minus 5 here divided by x2 minus x1. x2 minus x1, which I'm having this. Now remember, we are saying that since line AP is perpendicular to line PB, then what happens? M1 times M2 should be equal to -1. Perfect. So that's what we are using to do this one here. So that's what we are using. So let me just drag this one down here so that we can continue from here. So now what is the M1? So we had M1 to be y minus 1 divided by x plus 6, all times this one is y plus 5 divided by x minus 2, which is equal to -1. So this is going to be y minus 1 times y plus 5 divided by x plus 6, and then x minus 2 is equal to -1. You just simplify it and then we are done. When I finish, I will use other approach to also teach you what you are going to get when you use the other approach. Y minus 1, y plus 5, right? Which is equal to minus x plus 6, x minus 2, right? So I multiplied this by that. And then when I move this one to the left, I'm going to have x plus 6, x minus 2, plus y minus 1, y plus 5 is equal to 0. You can expand this to actually get the equation of the circle in the best form, right? We can expand this to get the equation of the circle in the best form. But we can also leave it here. So if it is, let's say, objectives that you are solving, then basically what you need to do is you need to check if the answer this is not there, then it means that you need to expand it before you can get the actual solution. Do you get it? So that is basically what you need to do from there so that you can get the solution from there. So we are learning a lot and each step matters, right? Each step matters. So I'm trying to shift all these people to this side. So this is basically for this. Okay. So we are done with this one. So let's assume that that's the first one that we did. Let me just divide my board into two, right? Let me just divide my board into two. Let me just divide my board into two and extend the line into two. Good. Now, this is the first approach, right? Let me use the second approach. The second approach is where we have the circle. Good. And then I have my this. So the second approach is I have A. So if I assume that A is -6 and 1 and B is 2 and -5, second approach is I'm going to find the center, right? And we said the center is the midpoint of A and B. So let's find the midpoint. So the center, let's assume that the center is AB. So the center of AB is equal to the midpoint, midpoint, midpoint of AB. So you see, coordinate geometry is here. We need the midpoint formula. So what's the formula for finding midpoint? Do you remember it? Good. So we said midpoint is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So that is the midpoint formula that we need. So it means that this is going to give us x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So let's treat this one as x1, y1, x2, y2. So we are going to have -6 plus 2 divided by 2, and then 1 minus 5 divided by 2. Did you see that? So this is x1, this is x2. Add them, divided by 2. This is y1, this is y2. Add them, divided by 2. So simplify this, and you are going to have something like -4/2, -4/2, and we are fortunate enough to see that this is -2, -2. So our center is -2, -2. So for us to form the equation of the circle, what we need is now we need a radius. And I said radius, we have two ways of doing it. It's either, since this is the radius and this is the radius, it's either you use AC to find the equation of the distance between AC to get the radius, or you find the equation between these 2 points C and B to get the radius, or you pick the distance between A and B, but that one becomes the diameter, then you pick half of that and then you just go. So any of them works here. Any of your choice is going to work. So now let me just do this without thinking of going to find half of anything, diameter or something. So I can just pick A and C to just get the radius straight, or C and B to just get the radius straight. So let me do that. Let me just pick A and C. So R is equal to the distance between A and C, right? So R is equal to the distance between A and C. So let's do that. What is the equation of the distance between 2 points? X2 minus x1. So you see that like almost everything that we are doing, we need formulas from coordinate geometry, right? We need the formulas. So please, we need formulas. We need them. Make sure you know them. So point A, so let me assume that this is my x1, y1, this is my x2, y2. And I'm going to have root of -2 minus, this is 6, so it's going to be -6 all squared plus -2, and then this one is 1, so -1 squared. So this is going to give me something like minus minus will be positive, so -2 plus 6 squared plus this one will be -3 squared, and I'm going to have something like this will be 4 squared plus 9, and this is going to give us like 16 plus 9, and this is going to give us root of 25, and this is going to give us 5. So the radius here is 5, and we have the center to be -2 and -2. So what are we going to get at the end of the day? Basically, Um, at the end of the day, this is what we are looking for. So let me just clean up the solution and just have the radius. Just have the radius up here, right? Okay, let me just leave one section for the top there. So the radius is 5, right? The radius is 5. So what's the equation of the circle? The equation of the circle is x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared. So let's go. Now we are going to have x plus 2 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to 5 squared. That's what we are going to get. So what is a? A is minus 2. What is b? B is minus 2. So when you plug minus minus will be positive, minus minus will be positive, and our radius is also 5. Now you see that we have this and then we have this one too. But when you expand, you are going to get the same results. I mean, when you want to expand to get it in the form of x squared plus y squared plus those kind of things, you are going to get it the same thing. I'll just do quick expansion for us to confirm and see that any of them works. It's just the choice that you are going to make. Which one am I going to use? So let's do this one here. I'll just do the expansion straight, right? So this is going to give us x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus y squared plus 4y plus 4 is equal to 25. This is x squared plus y squared plus 4x plus 4y, and then 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 minus 25 is going to be, I think, 17. So we are going to have minus 17 is equal to 0. So when I expand, this is what I'm going to get. Let's try expanding this to also see what we are going to get from here. And see, we just want to confirm the solution that we are having here. So let's see that. Let me just expand here. This is going to be x squared. I'm just doing I expansion. So this times this, and this time this is going to give us plus 4x. 6 times this one is going to give us negative 12 plus y squared. This times this will be 5y, and this will give us plus 4y. Then minus 1 times 5 will be minus 5, which is equal to 0. So you're going to have x squared plus y squared plus 4x plus 4y. Then what is minus 12 and then minus 5? That is minus 17, which is indeed the same as this. So you see that this is the same as this. So either you use the diameter, I mean, using the slope of, when they meet at 90, and also going for finding the center and finding the radius and using the equation of the circle, you are going to be the same. Like, it's going to be the same thing. But mind you, with objectives, basically sometimes you see that the answer is just in this form. So it means that when you pass here and you expand, for you to get to the option, then it means that you need to expand them to confirm the solution that you are getting before you can get basically what you are looking for, right? So basically, that is what we are trying to do, right? Or what we are trying to learn. So this help a lot to find, like, I have my left hand side and I have my right hand side and I have a choice. So life is a choice. So I leave it to you. You can decide to learn all the two. That is the best way, right? So that any time you can weigh the difference, right? So learn all the two. Don't just learn one. Learn all the two, but pick the one that you need to do. But for me, it's good for you to go for the left, but know the right. It's very important. Let's look at another question. So this question here too is going to feature, like, we want to find the equation of the circle, but here it passes through 3 points, as we learned from the previous video, right? So this is basically what we have here. We have this, and you have 1 point somewhere here. So 1 point here is like 8 and 0, and we have another point somewhere here. Let me say that point is 0, 0. So that point here is 0, 0. You have another point here which is 0, 6. So we have 3 points, like 3 points on the circle. So let me assume that this is A, this is A, this is B, and let me call this one my C. So anytime I have 3 points on the circle, as we said, the first thing that you need is the equation of the line, the general equation of the line. So what's the general equation of the line? X squared plus y squared plus 2 gen x plus 2fy plus c is equal to 0. So what we are going to do is, since this is the circle, which is this, and they intercept at this point, this point, this point, then we just need to plug them in. So this is x, this is y for A, and this is x, this is y for C, and this is x, this is y for B. So for A, so I will say for A, 8 and 0, I'll just plug them in. So what are we going to get? I'm going to have 8 squared plus 0 squared plus 2 times 8 plus 2f times 0 plus c is equal to 0. So I'm just plugging in the point. This is x and this is y. So wherever you see x, plug in 8. Wherever you see y, plug in what? 0. So this is going to give us 64 plus 0 plus 16 gen plus 0 plus c is equal to 0. So this will be 0, this will be 0. So this is going to give us 64 plus 16 gen plus c is equal to 0. Equation 1. So you see how 3 point also goes. Somebody is asking, do we have another way? Please, we don't have any other way. This is the way. We have one way for some things. We don't have other way. We have just one way. So it's just this one way that we are passing through. There's no other way. Maybe you can discover another way. Yes, when you bring it, we are interested by taking it. So that's how math works. You are just solving them, and you see another way which is working for everything, and just implement it as your theory. That okay, if we want to solve equation with 3 points on the circle, you can also use this way, which is more efficient. Then you are on the top, right? Good. So let's go for B. B is 0, 0. So for B, 0, 0, let's plug in wherever you see x and y, plug in 0. Wow. So this is it's going to be so fast. This is going to be so fast. Oh, I should have picked question that is going to demand a lot from us in the calculation. But I'll solve example again, because this will be 0, this will be 0, this will be 0, this will be 0. So it means that here C will be equal to 0, because everything goes to 0, and if the left with C is equal to 0. So let me call this one equation 2. This is quite unfortunate because all of them are 0. Let's look at C. So for C we have 0 and 6. So let's plug it in. X is 0, y is 6, x is 0 plus y is 6 plus c is equal to 0. So this is going to give us 0 plus 36 plus 0 plus 12f plus c is equal to 0. So we are going to have something like 36 plus f of 12f plus c is equal to 0. Equation 3. So we have 3 equations, right? Let me just shift them to, let me say, the left, so that we can get space and write others there. Okay. So let me just catch it here. Good. And let me put my circle 9 here. Now, let me just write the equation at this right side. We had one equation to be 64 plus 16 gen plus c is equal to 0. And we have another one, c is equal to 0. And then the last one is 36 plus 12f plus c is equal to 0. So this is equation 1, this is equation 2, this is equation 3. Since we have c to be 0, we can plug in it here and plug it here. So now equation 1 becomes, from equation 1, we are going to have 64 plus 16 gen is equal to 0. And we can see that 16 gen is equal to minus 64, and we divide through by 16. So divide this one by 16, divide this one by 16. Gene will be equal to, I don't have calculator, so I need to do it manually. 2 goes here, 8 goes here, 32. 2 goes here, 4 goes here, 16. 4 goes here, 1, and goes here, 4. So this will be minus 4. That is one you don't have calculator. It's so hard. So that's from equation 1. Let's plug in 0 into equation 3. So we are going to have 36 plus 12f is equal to 0 because c is 0. And we are going to have 12f to be equal to minus 36. And I think this one I can divide through by 12, and I know that I should be getting 3. So f will be equal to minus 3. So anytime you are dealing with equation of a circle which passes to 3 points, you are finding 3 variables. You are finding for f, you are finding for gene, and you are finding for c. So now we're able to find for f. F is equal to minus 3, gene is equal to minus 4, and c is equal to 0. So when we have gotten those things, then you just come and put it inside. We assume something. So we assume that this is the equation of the circle. So now we need to plug it in so that we get the complete equation of the circle. So the complete equation of the circle is x squared plus y squared. Then what is gene? Gene is minus 4. So I plug it in there. So I'm going to have plus 2 times minus 4x plus 2f is minus 3 times y, and c is 0. So plus 0 is equal to 0. So simplify, and we have x squared plus y squared minus 8x. Is it plus? No, still minus 6y is equal to 0. So this is the equation of the circle. So this circle here has this equation, which makes sure that this is true. So let's see if it is true. When I plug in 0, 0, let's see what we are going to get. Plug in 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 will be 0. So it's true, it's equal to 0 because they are on the circle. You see, another way of checking. So I want to check if this is true. If this is true, you can see that since all the points are here, they are on the circle, right? So what I need to do is when I pick the point and I plug it in, I should be getting 0. So 0 should be equal to 0. The left should be the same as the right. 0 here, 0 here, 0 here, 0 here will be 0. So my left is the same as my right. Let's pick 8 and 0. Let's do that. 8 here will be 64 because 8 squared will be 64. When I put 0 there will be 0. Minus 8 times 8 is 64 minus 0, which is equal to 0. 64 minus 64 is 0, which is true. Let's pick the last one, 0 and 6. So this squared is 0. 6 squared is 36 minus 0. 6 times 6 is 36. Indeed, and that one too is equal to 0. So when you understand the concept, you always find a way of getting it done. So let me show you the trick here. Let's assume that you are doing objective, right? And the question is asking you to check or find the equation of the circle which passes through this. It means that in the options, they are going to give you equations like this, right? So you see what I just did? Pick the point which was given to you in the question, plug them inside this, and check if all of them are going to give you 0. The equation from the option that is going to give you all of them 0 when you plug in the point is the one that is the original equation of the circle, like what we just did here. So that is one trick that you need to know, tips, right? So you see that somebody is doing objectives and basically I'm done. You think I'm fast. I'm not fast. Shortcuts, yes. But one thing that you need to know is if you pick shortcuts, you'll be cut short. So make sure when you are doing the shortcut stuff, you really understand them. Good. I love this one too. Let's just do them. we want to find out that if this point is inside, outside, or on the circle. So I'll do all the two. I'll do the shortcut. No, let me do the long cut. Then I'll do shortcut. Okay, so I have long cut and shortcut. Okay, so let's do the long cut. So the long cut is like this. I have a circle, right? And this circle here is x squared plus y squared is equal to 25, right? And I need just my center and my radius. So what will be the center? Good question. So this, we can see that this can be written as, this here can be written as x squared plus y squared is equal to 5 squared. So you know that this is the basic what equation which passes through the origin, because if you look at x squared, x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared, you will see that if we have nothing here, this is kind of x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared, right? So here we can see that the center is 0, 0. And what is the radius? The radius is 5. Because when I compare this to this, I get 5. Right. Now that I know my center, what did we say? We said when you get the center and then the radius, that's the start, right? So I've gotten my center and my radius. Now what I want to do is, now I want to pick the center and one point and find the distance and check if they are the same as the radius, greater than the radius, or less than the radius. So it's kind of very simple with even the long cut. Find the center, find the radius. When you are done, put them here, pick one of the points. So the first point, let me assume that the first point is A. So 3, 4. I want to find the distance between C and A. So equation of the, I say equation, the distance between 2 points is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And this is going to give us, let me say, so let's assume that this is our x2, y2, and this is x1, y1. I'm going to have 3 minus 0 squared plus 4 minus 0 squared, which is equal to 3 squared plus 4 squared, and this is going to be root of 9 plus 16, and this is root of 25, and this is equal to 5. So what do we see? We can see that when we want to compare the distance between A and C is the same as the radius, which is equal to 5. So what do we conclude on this point? What is this point? This point is on the circle, because radius is the same as the distance between the center and then the point. So this point here, we are saying that point A, which we name it as A, point 3, 4 is on the circle. Let me just use red here for the on the circle. So you see that it's not difficult. When you are done, you don't need to find center again. You don't need to find radius again. The same thing, pick the other point, right? And the center, find the distance, check whether it's greater than 0, equal to, or less than 0. So let me pick the other point to be B, which is I think 1 and 2. So 1 and 2. Find the distance between C and B. So we know the equation of the distance already from here. So this is going to be, center is 0, 0. So this will be 2 minus 0 squared plus 1 minus 0 squared. This is going to give us root of 2 squared plus 1 squared. This is root of 4 plus 1. This is root of 5. Now root of 5 is basically less than 5, right? Because look at this. This is 5, and this one we are taking the root. You know that when you take root of something, it reduces the number. It does not increase it. It's when you take the square that increases it, right? So this is less than that. I don't have calculator, but you can check that. So we can see that B or CB length, CB is less than R, because this is radius is 5 and CB is root 5. So we can see that. Last one, let's do the last one here. Let me just put the last one here. The last one, because we have C, let me assume that the last one is point D, which is 5 and minus 2. Good. Let's check. Oh, so what will be the conclusion here? I think I didn't say it. Since it's less, this is inside. So this is inside the circle. Let me just put inside the circle here. Now let's look at D and C. The same thing again, C times D, or the distance between C and D will be equal to 5 minus 0 squared plus minus 2 minus 0 squared. So root of 5 squared plus minus 2 squared. This is 25 plus 4, and this is equal to 29. So this is, I can see that this is basically greater than, let me say 5. Why do I have any reason to say that this is greater than 5? Yes, because from 29, we have 25. We know that square root of even 25 alone is 5, and we are adding something to it. So it's kind of bigger than 25, because you see that root of 29 is greater than root of 25. Do you agree? Because this number here is bigger than this. And we know that if we pick root of 25, this is going to give us 5. So those who are using calculator, you can confirm, and you see that we are going to see that distance of CD is greater than R. So now we can conclude that this is outside. We are outside, right? So we are outside the circle. Good. So the first point here, this point here was on, this one was in, and this one was out. So that was what we had. Let's use the shortcut. Somebody's saying that maybe let's use the shortcut. Okay, let's do the shortcut. That's what you are happy. That's what you want to see. Okay, let's do the shortcut. So what is the shortcut? The shortcut is very simple. So the shortcut here, let's go with this. It does not take a lot of steps. So x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. Good. So we can leave it like this, and when we plug in the point, the value should be equal to 25, less than 25, or greater than 25. Or we can move the 25 to this side, and then we think of when you plug in the value, it should be less than 0, greater than 0. Any of them works. But basically, if we have a constant here, then we can just plug them in here, and we compare the left to the right if they are the same. So if I want to leave it this form, let's pick the first point, A. We are saying that A is 3, 4. So let's plug it in. So we are looking at the left. So x squared plus y squared is equal to 3 squared plus 4 squared is equal to 25. 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, equal to 25. This is 25, which is equal to 25. Indeed, they are the same. So what is the conclusion? On, which is right here. We didn't suffer. We don't need to go and find the radius, find the center, and then checking the distance between the center and then the point. And we are done. That is incredible. Let's look at point B. 2, 1. Let's plug them in. This will be 2 squared plus 1, right? And then 1 squared, and this will be 4 plus 1, and this is going to be 5. So we can see that when we are bringing in the 25, this one is greater than 25. This one is greater than 25. So what do you see? We see that 5 is less than 25. So since it's less than, this is in. And that's what we had here, is in. And then the last one to go is the last point, D, because we chose D for that. So I just want to shift some of my solution up so that I don't clean the board. Good. Let me put my A here so that I can have space. So last one, let's pick our D. D is 5 and minus 2. Plug them in. 5 squared plus minus 2 squared. This is going to give us 25 plus 4. And this is going to give us 29. And we see that this is greater than 25. 25. So this is greater than 25. So we are going to say that this is outside. So this is so incredible, right? Just plug them in and then just do it. And then boom, you are done. It's nice, right? Very nice. Yeah. So that is on the circle, in the circle, outside the circle, left and right. You choose the one that you need. But for me, I'll choose the right. Basically, yes, I'll choose the right? But no the left. Good. Let's look at this one. Is it the last question? Yeah, this is the last question. And then we are done with this video. I give you some information and then we just finish it up. So for what value of k is this point on? Very important keyword here. That's what I've circled. On the circle. So remember we said that if it's on the circle, so here we can use two approach. We can just use the right or the left. But for me, I will use the right. But because I'm teaching you, I'll use the left and then the right. But let me use the long approach before I come to the short approach. So if we are talking about on, then as we know, we need to first let me use the shortcut so that let me use the shortcut first. Okay, so we have x squared plus y squared is equal to 5. So since it's on the circle, then they are the same. Like when I plug it in, they are going to be the same, like what we did here. So when you plug it in, we are using equal to sign because they are on. When it is in, we are using less than, and when it is outside, we are using greater than. So the point here is this is my x, this is my y. So I'm going to have k squared plus 2k squared to be equal to 5. So this is going to give me k squared plus 4k squared is equal to 5. And this is going to give me 5k squared is equal to 5. Divide through by 5 and k squared will be equal to 1. And your k is going to be plus or minus 1 when you take the square root. So the point on the circle is going to be, if I'm using k and 2k, if it is k is equal to 1, I'm going to have the point to be 1 and 2. If k is equal, so if k is equal to 1, and if k is equal to minus 1, k and 2k will be equal to minus 1 and minus 2. Very simple. You see that? It's very simple, right? It's very simple to do it. Section A, I'm done. Long time ago. Let's go to the long approach and then we are done, right? I just want you to know the left and the right. But I've interchanged this one. This one now is left and the right. So if you want to go to the long procedure, then I don't want to draw the circle, right? I right now picture the circle in my mind. So I know that I need center, I need radius. Then I use the center and the point to find the distance. Compare the distance to the radius. So given x squared plus y squared is equal to 5, I want to write this one as x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, right? So this is going to give us x squared plus y squared is equal to root of 5 squared. I just want to have square here. So it means that the center is 0, 0, and the radius is equal to root of 5. Right? The radius is equal to. But if basically you cannot even see that this one's supposed to be root of that, then what you need to do is, if this is the same as this, then r squared is the same as 5. So if r squared is the same as 5, then what will be r? r should be root of 5, right? So now, since this is like, I mean, we are talking about on, like the one that we have here, then it means that the distance, if we are naming this one to be a, like our coordinates, this 2k to be a, the distance between c and a should be the same as the radius because it is on. Good. So let's find the distance between c and a. So it's going to be k minus 0 squared plus 2k minus 0 squared, which is equal to root 5, because r is root 5. Then this is going to be k squared plus 2k all squared root. When I square both sides, the square here will cancel the root, square here will cancel the root. So it will be back to k squared plus 4k squared is equal to 5, which is right here. So we are back, this is back to this. Can you see that? So k squared, 4k squared plus 4k squared is equal to 5. And the same thing gives us the same solution. 5k squared is equal to 5, and then k squared is equal to 1. K is equal to plus or minus 1, and then we do the same thing. When k is equal to 1, we have a point 1 and 2, and when k is equal to minus 1, we have a point minus 1 and minus 2. Right. So yeah, we are done with the video, and like basically what I want to give it to you at the end of the video is, as I said, the formulas are very important. And with circles, the keywords like that we use, on, inside, outside, pay attention to them. We will solve another set of questions which will capture the stuff that we didn't capture in this video, but pay attention to the words that we use in. So it's a kind of, we are doing math and we are using math language, right? So we need to understand the language of the mathematics so that we can use them very well, right? So understand the terms on, perpendicular, parallel to each other, midpoint, perpendicular, like kind of we are finding equation of the circle, giving a diameter, giving 3 points on the circle. We need to know all those things. We put them together, and then it helps us to solve more examples. And then anytime I see a question, I don't need to struggle a lot to know what I'm going to do. And then I'm there. Right. So see you in the next video, which we are going to pick another set of questions to solve.